I want to talk about how being happy is overrated, and that actually one of your greatest gifts and your biggest strengths are going to come through difficulty and going to come through hard emotions and hard things that you will be asked to face throughout your life. So welcome to this video. I'm going to be sharing some stories with you. My name is Amanda, and I am an artist, a writer, and the founder of Awakened Creators, which is this creative community that you have stumbled upon. I want to thank you and welcome you here at Awakened Creators. We empower ourselves with our art as a tool for personal transformation, and I am so grateful and thankful for you to be here and be a part of this. If you find value in this video, please consider joining us by subscribing. And you can also find us over on Instagram at awaken.creators, where we like to hang out live as well as here. Go to all the places, do all the things, whatever feels good to you. All right, so let's talk about, oh my gosh, I just forgot what we were talking Let's talk about hard things. That's right. Okay. I don't like to edit my videos, so I try my best to just flow with it. So forgive me. So yeah, let's talk about doing hard things. Happiness is overrated. That is an absolute truth. So I remember my partner telling me once to focus on contentment because happiness is overrated. And at the time that they said it to me, I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. Like I could groove with that, right? Being awareness, being in appreciation for what is, being here now, all the things you already know, right? To find presence and peace in the now moment. But I think I was still chasing happiness. I was still get upset with myself, I guess, when I wasn't happy, or like I would try to force myself to get out of a bad mood. Especially for those of us who have been on a healing journey for many years and have so many tools, right? So many tools that you're like, I know how to get out of this, and why can't I get out of it? And at a certain point, I feel like I've had to accept that the real value of a foul mood, or a kind of a feeling like a denser energetic state, is a breakthrough opportunity. And in my experience, every single time I have actually sat down, literally, with my discomfort, with the thing that, the feeling that I'm facing, instead of try to cover it up with food, try to force myself out of it through breathing techniques and all this other stuff, right? Try to, maybe journal my way out of it. I do that a lot too. Or talk my way out of it with other people, right? Venting and whatnot. While all of those things can be helpful, and I'm definitely not knocking them, I use those tools. The most effective and fastest way I have found to actually move through it is to sit with it. And that's unfortunately one of the hardest things to do. But I want to hopefully share my own journey with you to inspire you to do the hard thing. That I'm here, I've survived it multiple times over, having to sit with anxiety, having to sit with fear, having to sit with anger and rage, and despair. And sitting with it, finding safe spaces where you can sit. And if someone can hold space for you, that is amazing. But if you don't have someone who can hold space for you, you can hold space for yourself. There is an aspect of you that is capable of holding infinite space for you, that isn't concerned with what you've got going on in your human experience, but is on a cosmic level ready and willing to hold space for you. So you can hold space for yourself, lock a door, light a candle, light some sage, some Palo Santo, get into holding some space for yourself and sit with and face what's coming up for you. And what I have found is, most recently, especially channeling whatever I'm feeling into my art, especially the really intense emotions. Like if you don't feel comfortable and haven't developed a meditation practice, which I very highly recommend every artist cultivate a meditation practice, it is invaluable. And I will link to the video where I talk about why you should meditate as an artist. But if you don't yet have a meditation practice, or you do and you want to try something new, grabbing yourself when you have that emotion coming up and making the deliberate conscious choice that I am going to channel this through my art. I don't know what's going to come up, but I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to, sit in all of this goop for the rest of the day and just wallow. But I'm going to force myself to channel this through art, okay? And it might be really hard at first. I know I've stormed out into my studio so angry and like I'm gonna paint, but when it actually came time to look at the canvas, I was like, maybe I'll just stand here and like be mad. And at that point, I really had to just let my body do what my body wanted to do instead of trying to control it again with my mind in any kind of way, and just go for it. And I ended up creating this whole painting with my hands. It was all finger paint. It was all raw and emotional because I was channeling anger, right? And the funny thing was, though, as I was channeling all this anger into the canvas, it started changing and and as I was painting, I found myself really feeling into like the lyrics of the music I was listening to and feeling into all these things coming up for me. And it shifted into like sadness, and then as it shifted beyond sadness, it kind of settled into this sense of peace and this sense of stability. It was very cathartic and it was very eye-opening to me, because truth be told, in the past, I think with that anger, I'd have just like yelled at my partner. I would have just like lost my shit, and I've been really trying to follow my inner guidance, which has been saying, when you have tough emotions, go to your art, go to your art, go to your art. And it's been really hard to follow through every time. But this time I was like, I am not going to light a match on my relationship and harm the people I love. Not like I would physically do anything to them, but I mean like, damage the relationship by saying things you can't take back and stuff like that when you're angry, but I am going to just like zip it. I'm going to paint, and take myself to my safe space and let it out in a constructive way rather than a destructive way, right? So that's also something to consider, is that are you allowing your emotions to come out and express in a destructive way, when really your art is the gateway to a constructive way of letting it out. So if you could just allow yourself an opportunity to be in a space where you can just be anything, you can feel anything, you can express anything, and it's safe, right? You're not expressing on anyone else. You're not harming yourself. You're expressing and channeling into your art or your dance or your music or whatever medium that you feel connected to. It's just so liberating to know that you have that opportunity. And so when I say that happiness is overrated, I say that growth isn't found in that energy. That is what comes after as a consequence of facing the dark stuff, facing the tough stuff, facing the hard emotions, right? Once you have done that, once you have found a way to reliably express those feelings in a safe, constructive manner, happiness is what comes in at the end to congratulate you, right? I'm seeing the Six of Wands card in my head that comes after the strife. It comes after the inner conflict. And if we can stand up for ourselves, right, and say, look, self, I know how to take care of this. Let's go paint. Let's go write. Let's go sing. Let's go strum. Let's go dance, and dance it out and strum it out and paint it out and write it out and let it out in a safe space. I said let it out, and I'm reminded of the channeling we did with Dolores O'Riordan, who literally told us to let it out. Okay. And so if you haven't watched that, I'll link that video here too. Very emotionally expressive creator she was. So listen to her. She's the expert. She knows all about expressing emotion through art. But here I am learning it years after I channeled that wisdom. So I am guilty of not always following the instructions that our guidance gives us, right? But I'm learning. I'm human. Forgive me. And we're doing this together. We're learning this together. We are growing this together. And I'm going to do my very best to show up honestly, authentically, share the tough stuff with you so that you know you're not alone. So yeah, let's not focus so much on trying to be happy all the time. And let's focus more on what do we do when we're not? How do we handle when we're not? And in what constructive ways can we use our art to help us through those moments? Because it really is a tool, a sacred tool that you have been given to help you through every challenge you will ever face in your entire life. This is a magic multi-tool that will help you every step along the way. And if you're not sure how you can use your art to help you, leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on, and maybe we can brainstorm and collaborate some ideas. If you do use art, like I gave an example of how I used art to help me through some tough emotions, could you please share your story in the comments, inspire the other members of this community, let people know that it is possible to find solace and comfort through your art space. So we're not drinking our way to peace, which we don't really find it, right? We're not eating our way to try to find peace, but we're using our art, we're using our hands, our body, our minds, and we are expressing the holy experience of being a human being that is gifted to us. So thank you for being a part of this community. Again, if you found value in this message, I would love for you to subscribe. Make sure you give it a like, share it with a friend who you think might benefit from hearing this. And otherwise, I will talk to you again another time. I love you so much, and I am so grateful and thankful that you are showing up for yourself and being devoted to your art, to your heart, to you. Namaste.